You don't finish second. How many times did you finish second this year?
4 times.
You are the world champion losers, you and old Cam.
Yeah, no,
Y'all are the best losers out there.
We're the best.
We're the champs of all
Best
the losers.
on the planet.
World champion at losing.
Dude, if there was a second place plaque, it'd only be about that big, but we'd get it.
So, like maybe a belt buckle?
But how would you fit both our names
Belt
on it?
buckles and rodeo?
How would you fit
No.
Cameron Hitt and Chris Blackman?
But you each get your own personalized belt buckle for a second. That is something we should look into.
It would be so small.
I might even donate those to your club next year. So you guys will have like a room full of fishing belt buckles.
Dude.
Y'all be the only rednecks to have bass fishing belt buckles. How great would that be?
Hey, I live in a trailer, man. That'd take up all my wall space. Oh, welcome back to the Fish Life Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Get it together.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Let's go. Bass fishing belt buckles coming in hot.
Man. Yeah, that would be kind of a good deal, though.
I don't think it's for sure not the worst idea we've ever had.
No.
Today.
I mean, believe me. Yesterday I had some pretty good ideas, but today that definitely takes the cake.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. It's golly, buddy, it's hot. It's literally like we're sitting in my garage, we got the air conditioner on full blast. We'll probably be sweating here in about 10 minutes. It's 103
You
degrees.
freaking yelled at me for leaving the door open just for me to walk in. You said, close that door.
Yeah. It's like 103 outside right now, and that's kind of what's been going on now. I think we got a little bit of a system coming through tomorrow that may knock the temperatures down. It's only going to be like 95 the rest of the week or something, but it's still just crazy hot, man.
I'm just really hoping that little rain shower cools off some of that water, so maybe we can get a good little topwater bite going on Saturday.
Well, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of dreading this little cool down because what's finally happened is we finally have like real summer predictable patterns. Fish are starting to get into groups. Now on Lake Fork specifically, it hasn't been that easy because we just had the world's biggest single day tournament
Ever.
on earth. 1,800 plus anglers signed up for the Mega Bass on Fork yesterday. And one of our own, Jerry Dean, guy that follows the channel, him and his dad and his son all fish together. They come to all the seminars. They watch all our content, man. Great people. They subscribe to the Fish Life app. They took second place. Jerry Dean called him a Jerry Dean Jr. The middle Dean.
10.04, is that right?
Right at a 10-pound even. Yeah, he took second place overall. So Lake Fork, for those that are always wanting to say, oh, Lake Fork's not the greatest lake of all time. Yeah, when it comes to big bass, it sure is. What other tournaments host it? What other late July Texas tournament kicks out multiple 10-pounders? Amateur level tournament.
Don't worry, we'll wait.
None. They caught, Lake Fork has a slot limit. 16 to 24 inches is the slot. They caught 21 overs in one day.
I was going to say, there's only 2 lakes in the state of Texas that even come remotely close, and it still doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen. 21 overs in one day. 21 fish over 24 inches in one day. Now, folks, just so you know, these fish don't weigh that much this time of year. Long, skinny, strung out.
Mm-hmm. They look like me.
I have caught plenty, well, not me personally, but people in my boat have caught plenty of 10-pound bass underneath that 24-inch mark.
Mm-hmm.
So a 24-inch fish does have the frame to carry a 10-pound body. They don't all obviously weigh near that much this time of year, but that's 21 fish with some really big bones on them.
So what are you going to say? We'll just kind of put a blanket statement on it. I'm going to say an over on Fork this time of year is going to weigh at least 7 pounds, we'll say. At least.
Every once in a while, you'll get like the super skinny ones might weigh 6.
Right.
7 is really, until they start getting like super unhealthy, 7's about as low as it goes. Most of them are 8-pounders.
Right.
9s are really common in the over category this time of year. A lot of 7 and 8-pounders weighed in yesterday that were overs. Mm-hmm. But that's just, it's the end of summer. But as hot as it's been so miserable hot. But like I was saying, that's to prove my point is
predictable pattern.
These fish are finally starting to group up where they're supposed to group up, and in the type of numbers they're supposed to group up in. Our water temps have just lingered so low for so long, the fish have remained kind of scattered out. And so the current conditions for Lake Fork would be, man, it's good if you can stay in the heat. Because the deal is right now the best bite is at the hottest time of day.
Has the thermocline set up pretty good?
It's there. It's pretty deep still because the water's not just super hot still.
Right.
We're just getting to that upper 80s mark, just breaking into, like we got 90s in some of the shallow water stuff. Main Lake's just getting into the upper 80s. So, yeah, there's a thermocline, but it's still like 25 feet and below for the most part. that'll continue to climb throughout the month of August, though. But I'm gonna tell you, I take time off in August because it's so darn uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
And I'd much rather fish in the cold than the heat for me personally, comfort wise. But as far as the fishing goes, it is very, very good if you get on the right spot at the right time in the month of August, and for the rest of July as well.
Right.
So if you guys out there are wondering about Lake Fork, kids are maybe going to go back to, I don't know, email school or whatever they're doing now, before they get all that started, you want to get out and have a chance to have a really good day and hit the right spot at the right time. Contact us at yourlakeforkguide.com. It won't be me taking you, because I take time off in August, and then the days I do have available are already booked. But we've got a lot of guys that we work with around Lake Fork that have been catching some really good bass, and it's just going to get, I mean, now that big tournament's behind us, the crowd's going to dwindle, the heat's going to keep coming, and those fish are going to keep ganging up. If you get one of them guys that's ready to go fish in the middle of that heat, you might see 30 minutes to an hour that you'll never forget the rest of your life. I mean, it can be like, sit there for 30, 45 minutes to an hour,
Home run city.
catch them every, never go more than 5 minutes without a bite, and never catch anything under 5 pounds. I mean, it can be stupid good fishing this time of year when you hit it right.
I've seen some pretty good days on Fork this time of year.
Absolutely, man. It's the old adage, it's never a bad time to go to Fork because that big bite deal always lingers. Well, now that big bite lingers in numbers if you hit it right.
That's right. They hang out with ones their size.
They are grouping by size. They're finally grouping up the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
That's the deal. We finally have gotten the water tips high enough where they're grouping the way they're supposed to. Now, you fished recently on Lake Winsboro.
Lake Winsboro? It was the way we fished, I'm sure you're familiar with the lake.
I've been one time.
Okay.
Ever.
So, down there by the dam, there's this little spot called the Crappie Shack. And what the Crappie Shack is, it's basically an enclosed floating dock, if you will, where people can go
People
there
can go in there and pay a little fee and crappie
Right.
fish, and they get brush piles under it and all
That's
that.
right.
Yeah. I've heard about it.
We fished there for a couple hours, first thing in the morning, got our limit pretty early, and then we went exploring after that. We finally found this little offshore ridge, and it wasn't real deep because that lake's, I think the deepest part of that lake's 23 foot.
Oh, I got you.
So we were sitting in where we had positioned the boat, where we found this ridge. We were sitting at about 16, 17, casting up into 6, and it was just a bomb cast. You could throw it in 4 foot.
I got you.
And I was working a big football jig, and Cameron was working a shaky head, and we ended up culling 3 times there, and worked out. We ended up getting second.
How much weight did y'all have?
We had right at 15 pounds, 1480 something.
Well, that's pretty good.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I mean, summertime fishing a lake you've never really fished before. Made 3 calls. No, y'all had a good day.
His dad beat us.
Y'all made it sound like y'all sucked again and just lucked in the second, but no, y'all had a good day.
We had 1484, I think was our weight.
That's
it wasn't
good.
terrible. Yeah, it wasn't bad. 16 won it.
Yeah, for a late summer tournament in Texas, that's not bad at all.
So
Absolutely.
the closest
Man,
one
maybe you don't suck as bad as I thought you did.
Well, so what's funny was third place was 12 pounds.
yeah.
But you know what's funny though? Everybody weighted dead fish except for us. I was pretty proud about that.
That's good. Good on Yag. It's tough this time of year to keep
That
them alive all
G-juice?
day. Yeah.
That stuff works, man.
Yeah, it can be tough this time of year to keep them all alive. There's no doubt about that, man. There's been so much going on in the world of tournament fishing and bass fishing, and everybody knows the chaos that has ensued in the world. But I tell you what, for a bass fisherman, man, during the springtime we all kind of kept ourselves entertained fishing a lot. With everybody, a lot of people having a lot more free time, and then now we're kind of in the dog days where guys are starting to wind down and not fish as much. But my God, we got plenty to watch. There's a lot of tournament fishing going on right now.
Dude, you know what's funny? When we were fishing the other weekend, I hooked up on one that, I'm not even kidding you, if it went 2 pounds, I'll give you my paycheck. I mean, it wasn't that big at all. But it was fighting like a dang 5-pounder.
Yeah.
These fish are so tired of getting caught this year.
Is that what it is?
They've been getting beat on
Is that the
all
theory?
year. I'm telling you, man.
They're just meaner. They've had more workout than they used to
Dude,
have.
I'm telling you, these fish have been caught more this year to date than they probably ever have. If you think about it.
Maybe. That's not an unrealistic possibility. I know the tournament fishing world's been crazy. I know one thing I don't want to be. I don't want to be a tournament director in 2020.
No.
I mean, these poor guys are having to reschedule events and cancel events and move them at the last minute. I mean, of course, New York, we all know New York is monkeyed up as it gets politically, and we don't need to get into political debate on this podcast about what we personally believe about the COVID deal or what we do or think is or isn't dangerous. That's not what I want to do, but New York's not the place I want to live because of the leadership there. I'll just say that.
Fair.
And they really don't want Bassmaster coming there.
No.
And Bassmaster said, we don't care, we're coming anyway. Which, good for them.
Yeah, Bassmaster said, hold my beer.
Good for them. Now, I will say that Waddington, New York, which is the town they normally do their event in, kicked them to the curb. They've been going with Waddington for a lot of years. They had a multi-year contract with Waddington, and Waddington said, we don't care. We're voiding out of this contract. Y'all can go find somewhere else to hold this fiasco.
I wonder how much money got let go because of that,
so,
too.
what's that town they used to launch in all the time? They're going back there. What's that town?
Plattsburgh?
Is it Plattsburgh?
No, Plattsburgh is...
Carson or something? I don't remember.
It's, hold on.
Anyway.
You don't get me.
This is the town they launched it. Clayton, not Carson, Clayton. Clayton, New York, which is where they used to launch all the events out of before they went to... What was the one I just... Man, I'm having brain cramp. It must be hot outside.
Waddington.
Well, before they went to Waddington. So Clayton, I'm sure they'll have a fine event there.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be good. It'll be done right. Everything will be fine. Man, upstate New York, big smallmouth, those guys, they're going to crush them on the St. Lawrence River. That's going to be a fun event. We just had a absolute Sturgeon Bay beatdown, right?
Boy.
Like, that MLF tournament at Sturgeon Bay, I mean, you talk about seeing some things go down. I mean, Justin Lucas comes in there and just absolutely dumps the freaking clutch on them, dude. Like,
the only person that even had a chance was Mark Daniels Jr. I'm sorry, Mathiolate Daniels Jr.
Mathiolate Daniels Jr.?
He's the only one that had a chance.
Friend of the channel, our guy, Mathiolate.
That's right.
We talked to him one time, so that makes him a friend for life.
Oh, he's our best friend.
Yeah, best friend. We went to different high schools together.
That's right. Yeah, we played baseball together on different teams.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, together on different teams.
At one point, he, on championship day...
Did he make a little run?
Well, he was the closest to Justin Lucas.
Right.
And it was at like 5 pounds, 3 ounces, I think was as close as anybody got.
It's pretty close in that event with how good they were catching them.
Right. And MDJ was...
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so Justin Lucas racked up over 200 pounds in his first 2 days of competition. 200 pounds.
I want y'all to think about that.
We've seen a 100-pound day before on the MLF with Jacob Wheeler, but we've never seen 2 of them in a row.
Right. I'm
going to tell you how rare 100-pound days are, especially 100-pound days that are documented on camera like that.
On 71 fish. Granted.
71 fish. So, I'm going to tell y'all how rare a 100-pound day is, especially one that's fully documented on camera.
Mm-hmm.
We have one.
We've done it.
We were actually the first people to ever officially document 100 pounds of bass on camera in a single day.
Really? We were the first ones to do it.
There was a Mikey Balls video where he was like, I think we were at 100 pounds. You can do the math yourself. Well, the math I did on the Mikey Balls video added up to like either 88 or 91. It was just a little short of 100 pounds.
Still stroked
from the yeah, obviously.
Right.
Crazy day.
Yeah.
But that was, but yeah, so out of all the video research I did, because when we came out and had the 100-pound video, I wanted to know had this ever been done before.
Because I remember we were talking about it.
And I couldn't find anywhere it had been done. So we were the first to do it. Now, since then, it's only been done officially one other time. That's Jacob Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
That I know of, that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been done one other time. Jacob Wheeler. Now, Justin Lucas said, okay, I'll see you, Jacob Wheeler, and I'll raise you a second day in a row. Like 2 consecutive days on the water, he goes over a hundo, man. Yeah. Like, how insane is that?
So,
folks, that's never been done before in the history of the sport.
So, his day 2 qualifying, he didn't catch 100. He only caught 63 day 2, but he caught 141.
I apologize. He got 141. So, the 141 is the all-time single day documented on film record.
Period. End of story.
It is. 141 pounds. That's it. So, okay. Yes. He didn't go over to 102 days. But
he did.
Then he comes back on. He gets the bye into the championship round, and then he comes back on championship round and catches 100. That's where. So he had 2 100-pound days in 3 days.
He did have 2 100-pound days,
and he had 141 on one of them, which is the all-time record.
Correct.
For anybody in the history of the sport. That's 2 things that we've never seen done in the history of sport that we just saw go down.
And on his 205 2-day wait of qualifying, that was on 71 fish.
Question. More impressive. Dean Rojas has the single day 5-fish limit record on Lake Toho back in the early 2000s of, I believe it was 44 pounds.
Yes.
It's either 44 or 46.
I think it's 46.
Look that up. It's either 44 or 46. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Semantics. Okay, don't worry about looking
Semantics.
Semantics. Erroneous on both accounts. So, what's more impressive? Somebody breaks the 5-fish stringer record and gets 48, 49, 50, whatever it ends up being.
45.2.
45.2 was Dean. So I was right in that.
You're in the ballpark.
So somebody gets a high 40s bag and breaks the all-time 5-fish bass stringer record, or 140 pounds of bass.
So
how many bass did he catch in that 140 pounds? You still have those stats ready?
In the 140?
Yeah. You have those handy?
Yeah, he caught 50.
So 50 bass for 141 pounds, or 5 bass for 48 pounds. What's more impressive? Your opinion. And y'all comment y'all's opinion.
Oh, well, here, okay, so I'm going to say this. So after and so I'm going to use this as an example. The Rayburn deal this year, the 49 pounds in Triple T, okay? That is impressive, but there is also such a huge deal of luck, in my opinion. But to sit there and catch 50 bass and record 141 pounds.
And they're 50 pounds of over 2 pounds.
Correct.
Can't count anything under 2.
I think that's more impressive. You're more dialed in.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that is, like, yeah, you weighing 49 pounds in a tournament, yeah, you freaking stroked them, dude, but
you got a few big bites.
You got a few lucky bites.
Yeah.
But you
got a few, like, all-time big bites.
But you don't get lucky 50 times. Not in the sport of fishing, period. End of story.
Man, I've got to go with you. You know, I think a year ago I would have answered the opposite direction. It's more impressive to catch a 9-pounder, 10-pounder, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to tell you, as a fisherman that goes out and fishes every day, those 40-pound bag days are just luck.
Yeah.
Like, you can go out and do the exact same thing you do every single day that puts you consistently on 30.
Like, well, it says something about you that you're fishing where they are. Like, it says something about you.
You can consistently stay on that 25, sometimes 30, sometimes even around 35. You can kind of stay there a few days in a row when the fishing's real good. If you execute correctly on everything and the fishing's real good, you can get 35-pound bags day after day after day for several days. But to catch that 40-something pound bag, I've done it. It's just luck. Like, you're doing the same thing you were doing the day before that got you 35. You just got lucky today.
That's right.
And got those other key big bites. 140 pounds in a single day.
Insane.
Now granted, it was both of us and Heath. We had multiple rods going. But we only fished for 5 hours, so I mean, I think if it was just one of us, you probably would have got there if you fished a full 8-hour day.
And wasn't that in July, August as well?
Yeah, it was
hot.
It's like July 30th.
Yeah, it was hot.
Which goes to speak about what we said earlier about they group up the right way this time of year.
That's right.
I think that the 140 pounds is more impressive.
I think so too. Now, before we talked to Kelly Jordan this year, and before we saw what MLF did with their 2-pound minimum,
Kelly Jordan did open my eyes a lot to
me.
Like, somebody tells you they caught 10 fish up to 8 pounds, you're like, dude, you had a great day.
Yeah, you freaking whacked
Somebody tells you they caught 32 fish up to 5 pounds, they caught them better.
Yeah,
like, they had it going on better.
Period.
But that guy that caught the 10 fish is probably going to win in the 5-fish stringer.
That's right.
So, yeah, I think that's
what
I'm getting. The whole thing I'm getting at here is, was that the most impressive day of fishing we've ever seen in the history of bass fishing? I think it was.
I think it was. As far as the overall product, yes, 100%.
Like, was that the best fishing performance single day fishing performance that we've ever seen?
I got to go with yes.
I think it is. I really do. So, Justin Lucas, congratulations, kudos. You are the man. That was unbelievable. And Justin Lucas is one of the younger guys that really doesn't get the play and the credit he deserves for how good he is and what he's already accomplished at an early age.
So I'm going to pull this up because
he was a stud on FLW. They go to the Delta, which is his home water, when he's on the Elite Series. He wins that event. He's competed and like stayed up in the rankings in every tour he's been on.
He's our age.
I know. Yeah. He's young. Well, there's a difference between me and you, but yeah, he's your age. It's not that big.
When he's 34, he's in between us.
Okay, he is our age. He's right in between us.
Yeah. So I pulled this up the other day while I was sitting there watching.
Well, who remembers? He used to be like the announcer for FLW for years.
Yes, that's right. So I pulled this up the other day.
Normally that's like the opposite. Like guys fish a long time, then they start announcing.
He's had
Justin Lucas announced for a long time, then started fishing.
Yeah, he was like, "All right, guys, I'm tired of y'all
like y'all suck. Y'all suck.
Y'all can't wait no fish. Watch this.
Let me show y'all how to do this."
So he's had 7 major career wins.
I know.
42 top 10s, 51 top 20s. So he's been as relevant as any of these young guys.
He's got to be in like the top 15-ish in the world right now, I would say.
If he's not, his Bass Pro Tour ranks 46, but that was before this tournament also.
Yeah, the Bass Pro Tour hasn't been kind to him. I think a lot of these guys are having to adjust to the different format. He adjusted this week really well.
He's got $1.5 million in earnings.
That's a big deal, man.
That's huge.
There's not a lot of guys that can say that.
No, heck no.
There's just not a lot of guys that can say that.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like you think of, like I got a lot of buddies on Facebook that fish, and while this is going on, you know, I'm watching the live stream, and people are going, "Who is Justin Lucas?" I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, that's what I mean. He doesn't get the notoriety that he deserves.
Right.
Like he's up there. He's like, I promise you can't name 20 fishermen on planet Earth that I'm going to go, yeah, they're better than Justin Lucas.
Well, and you know, and he had a freaking veteran nipping at his heels in his qualifying group with Scott Suggs.
Yeah.
And Scott Suggs can catch him.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Has for years.
And so one thing about that tournament that kind of blew me away is I wanted to see him and Josh Bertrand go head to head. Because Josh Bertrand was catching him pretty much as well as he was.
And Bertrand is a Clearwater guy from Arizona.
But his fish disappeared. That's the only thing that happened.
That deal, see, and that's the deal is, yeah, Justin Lucas is from California, but he's a Delta guy.
That's right.
He's kind of more of a power fisherman, shallow water fisherman. So, and that's what's so impressive about so many of these guys, how versatile they are. Bertrand, that's right in his wheelhouse.
Oh, yeah.
That offshore, clear water, drop shot, all that stuff you do in smallmouth world, well, he grew up in Arizona, and that's what they do. Like, that's what they do all the time. So, I would expect Bertrand to perform well in this event. And then Lucas comes in and just blows it out to a level we've never seen before. But that just goes to speak to how good these guys are. I mean, they're so good. I think that's another thing that gets drastically underestimated is just how outstanding these fishermen are.
Oh, yeah. And
how versatile they are and how they can catch them any way, any place, any time, way better than you and I ever will dream of, you know. So it's really impressive.
Listen to this. This blew my mind. Josh Bertrand catches 123 pounds day 1 of qualifying. You know what he caught day 2? 9 pounds.
Just lost him.
And still got 3rd in his qualifying group.
Because he caught 100.
Because he caught 100.
Just lost him on.
And then I was looking at his interview or whatever before the knockout round, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, my fish disappeared." He said, "I got some other ones though." Then he goes out and catches 68 on 21.
It's not too bad.
And you're like, "All right, dude, I get it."
These guys are they're unbelievable talents. These guys are.
Crazy.
Yeah, and speaking of unbelievable talents, something else happened during this MLF event. Jordan Lee locked up the Angler of the Year.
By making it to the championship round.
Locked up Angler of the Year. Another great performance by him. Angler of the Year over Jacob Wheeler.
Who's the best in the world right now, Billy?
Man, every time I want to go ahead and say, okay, it's Wheeler, then Joe Lee comes up and does something to make you go, hold on, wait a minute, I'm still here. Yeah, the back-to-back Classic champ, yeah, that's me. That's me. Jacob Wheeler ain't won any of those. I got that double-sided feather in my hat. Oh, and now I'm going to go ahead and win Angler of the Year on the Bass Pro Tour, which, again, Jake Wheeler hasn't got any of those in his hat either because Edwin Evers won it last year. So who really is the best angler on planet Earth right now? I mean, if you're going to go by the feel of the moment, I think this year everybody's on the Jacob Wheeler train. And not this year. I mean, Jacob Wheeler's done a lot for a lot of years, but he's really lit it up this year in a lot of events, multiple wins, all that stuff. But if you're going by raw data and skins on the wall, trophies on the mantle, so to speak, you kind of got to go with Jordan Lee.
It's hard to argue, for sure.
Man, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Gut instinct, one-on-one fish off. Who am I betting my money on? Let's say no information. They're going to a blind lake. Same equipment, same boats. Everything's the same. Who are you placing your bet on between Jordan Lee and Jake Wheeler?
I mean, I'm
3, 2, 1, name.
I'm going Wheeler.
And I think I would too. Like, I'm thinking, but man, it just, when you look at the data, you're wrong.
Right, I know. Yeah, I know, I'm with
like,
you.
when you look at the big time victories on the biggest stages, who's got the trophies, who's got the biggest wins over the last few years, it's Jordan, man.
It's Jordan Lee.
You know, he kind of disappeared after that opening win last year, so we all kind of forgot about him a little bit, but he didn't stay gone long.
Oh, the Empire. It was like a Star Wars movie. The Empire Strikes Back. Here he comes. Hey, y'all said, who's the best in the world? Watch this.
Exactly. It's like when people started really kind of having the general consensus that Wheeler was the best in the world, it was as if it lit a fire under Joe Lee. And here's the best part about it, man. We've got this whole Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer deal going with these two guys, and they're young.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to get to watch this for another 10 or 15 years at least, I would say. Lord willing and the COVID don't rise.
Golly.
You know what I mean? Like, it just, what a great spot we are in as bass fishing fans. So much negativity around the world of bass fishing over the last year with the tour, the last couple years with the tour split. And, man, now guys are ragging on there's certain guys out there that are just condemning Bass Pro Tour.
Oh, yeah.
Because they canceled some tournaments and they had trouble rescheduling, and then they opened up the FLW Tour. Like, people just, it's like they look for a reason to throw darts at the Bass Pro Tour because they took the bass, all the big dogs away from BASS, or a lot of them, most of them. And I'm sitting back going, what's the real problem here? Because now we've got two amazing tours. You can argue back and forth on which one you like better, but they're both really, really extremely good.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to strive to get better because the other one's right on their butt. Whoever is the best, the other one's right behind them.
Yeah, because I think these two tournaments that are fixing to happen in upstate New York for BASS, people are going to start chirping about that too after that, because that's going to be a heck of an event.
Absolutely. So whoever is in the lead, the other one's right behind them. So they're going to keep competing with each other.
They're trying to leapfrog each other.
And then on top of that, we've got this young talent on the biggest stage in the world just throwing darts at each other. And, man, it is a great time to be a spectator. And we've got heavy tournament, elite level tournament bass fishing action way further into the year than we've ever had it before.
Yep.
I mean, it's just an amazing time to be a fan of bass fishing.
Great. I love it. Can I tell you the number one TV moment of the year, though? Okay, and this came out of the mouth of Gary Klein. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I was watching, because I watch reruns of fishing because I can't fish every day. And so
because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Like, I do too.
And so
I do fish every day.
I was watching the heavy hitters from the Kissimmee because they just aired it.
Yep.
And I think it was the knockout round or qualifying day 2 round something. And Gary Klein's boat marshal goes, "Oh, Jordan Lee catches a bass for 3 pounds 8 ounces," and Gary Klein goes, "Didn't know he can catch anything under 6." And I don't know what made me think of that, but that was absolutely the TV moment of the year.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because he caught 25 pounds both days in qualifying on like 5 fish.
I know. It's stupid. That kid's amazing, man. He's so good. Talk about y'all want to have a heavy hitters tournament. I'll show you how to hit them heavy. And boy, did he. He won a lot of money that week. A lot. He won a lot of money that week.
That dude is. And he's as humble as any of them. That's what's funny about it.
Yeah, that's another part about that's something about our sport of bass fishing that is truly awesome. Is most of the guys, even the really good ones, man, they're just dudes. They're just guys that like to spend their life in the water and the woods, and are fortunate enough to have figured out a way and have enough, native ability to get out there and scratch out a living doing it, and they're really, really happy about that, and they don't think it makes them anything special and all that. That's there's a lot of those guys like that. I mean, we like I said, we've had conversations with several of them now, and I mean, we've both have met Kelly Jordan multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
He's an awesome guy to talk to. Jacob Wheeler and old Mathiolate, Mark Daniels Jr.
Mathiolate Daniels.
Man, all those guys have been amazing to talk to. They're all just dudes, man. None of them are just. I mean, there are some out there.
There's a few arrogant ones, but
there
I mean,
are some out there that let it get in their head a little bit. But that's human nature. But for the most part, as far as a professional level sport goes, man, these guys are really humble.
They do a better job of it than I probably would. I'll just put it that way.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know
I'd be
that
like
I'd be
the
able
Johnny Football of bass
Oh,
fishing.
guaranteed.
I'd be out there like spiking bass in the live well. You know what I mean? Talking about
Oh, the Cam Newton.
yeah. I'd have the old
come
Superman shirt on under my fishing jersey and rip it open every once in a while.
So
I get up on the stage and rip it open with the logo underneath.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let me ask you
Get
this.
it like this?
Did you get to watch any?
Doing the,
doing the
pay me hand signals. Let's go.
Hey, you know what's funny? Anybody that coaches against me, don't listen to this. When I give my kids this, that's a steal sign.
So you're saying this for the people that are listening on the audible format.
Correct.
Blue 42, the audio.
The Johnny Football money.
The old
money
Johnny
fines.
Football money celebration. That's your steal sign in baseball.
One of them, yeah. That's a nonchalant one. I do it.
All of our baseball coaches that are listening out there,
They're
if you
like, we
see
got you now.
a really ugly, tall, bald-headed dude coaching on the other side, guess what? This means steal.
So,
You got to change your steal sign now.
nah.
Well, you're not supposed to steal signs in baseball these days. It's against the rules.
Not allowed.
Not
Even though we've been doing it
nobody
since
steals
1920.
signs in baseballs. That's totally unethical.
Squirrel. Okay, so you know.
Let's go.
I'm
in on this. I'm in on this topic.
I'm
Let's
as
go.
big a Rangers fan as anybody, and
Let's
I'm
go.
as big an Astros hater as anybody.
You are an Astros hater.
But that was ridiculous. Honestly.
Right.
That's stupid. We've been stealing signs. We were taught to steal
Bro,
signs as kids.
I was 8 years old
Yes.
playing pitching machine, Little League, and we were looking for bunt signs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I mean, when you hit the minors and majors, when you could like steal and all that,
Yeah.
like we were all getting coached on how to steal signs at 10 years old.
What's the problem, people?
Like that is part of baseball.
So the fact that an organization took the tools provided and did it.
Well, they just did it better than anybody ever.
That's
did.
what I'm saying,
They took
like-
it to another level.
Right.
And Boston was doing the same thing.
I know.
And the Yankees are all acting like they're high and mighty. I guarantee you the Yankees were doing the same thing, they just didn't get caught.
Oh, they've been doing it for 5 years and still can't win.
Yeah, because they're the Yankees. Hell with the
Screw them,
Yankees.
that's why.
Yeah, hell with the Yankees.
Hey, that's why BASS is coming to New York, boys, because y'all can't keep them out.
You know, if you look at any of the older generation baseball players that they've interviewed about that, I'll tell you this: you look at anybody that isn't like a young baseball player currently competing and wanting to just be a little pissy and money that the Astros have been as good as they are.
Yeah.
If we're being real for a moment, I know you don't like the Astros.
No,
I know
I
that I
hate
do, and
Yeah,
the
you're-
Astros are my team.
Correct.
Now I'm not like you. I do also like the Rangers.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in an era where they were in American League and National League. So I had the Astros because I grew up close to Houston. That was my home team. That was my favorite team. Bagwell, Biggio, all that good stuff. But the Rangers won the American League, and I'm just old enough to remember Nolan Ryan playing for them.
Mine was a Silver Boot. That was the rivalry, and I had too many
I get
friends
it.
from Houston.
And I grew up before interleague play was even a
Right.
thing. So that literally the Rangers and Astros never once played each other when I was growing
Right.
up. Until I was almost out of high school when they started interleague play.
Yep.
So I do like the Rangers. I don't have dislike for the Rangers, but you look at anybody that's doesn't have a reason to be jealous of the Astros.
Right.
And every one of them, every baseball man to a T that gets interviewed about that, when they ask them, should they have the World Series taken away, they literally laugh at the
Yeah,
interviewer.
why? Why would
Like
you
the
take
best
it?
one was Will Clark.
Yeah.
Will Clark played for the Rangers, never played for the Astros.
That's right.
Played against the Astros a lot in the 90s with the Giants.
He was my favorite first baseman of all time.
Had no reason to like the Astros whatsoever. Never been a part of their organization, nothing, right?
Yep.
They interview Will Clark about it, and he literally starts laughing at that. Like, he's like, no.
Yeah, why would you?
No, they shouldn't take it. Are you kidding me? Listen, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
Like,
And Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, too.
Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because
Yes.
he never bet against himself.
Correct.
Like, just because he bet on his team to win shouldn't disqualify you from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's
But that's the
ridiculous.
world we live in.
That was literally a personal grudge match. You talk about the hardest haterade sipping hater of all time. What was that commissioner's name? I can't remember.
Oh, if you would have asked me,
I can't even remember. Anyway.
Yes.
The commissioner that banned Pete Rose for life and never refused to ever let him in the Hall of Fame. That was just literally because Pete Rose hated him and he hated Pete Rose. That was the biggest haterade moment in the history of the world.
All because Pete Rose was getting it from 2 different avenues. And he wouldn't even do anything wrong.
He was betting on his own team. He never bet against his team.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I get it. You can't gamble on baseball if you're a baseball player. But, okay.
But if you never go against...
Kick him out.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't be a coach anymore. You can't be a player anymore. Fine. You can't, all of a sudden, your 4,000 hits didn't happen.
Right.
No. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Yes, they did.
Yeah. So you're going to strip every win from every game that his team played in where a hit contributed to the win?
Yeah.
Where does it stop?
It's insane.
That's
insanity.
That's my whole point.
Pete Rose, you're an idiot. And you're one of the biggest jerks of all time.
1,000%.
But you're also the greatest pure hitter of the baseball that's ever existed.
Yeah,
arguably
the only one close is Tony Gwynn.
Right.
Or Kirby Puckett.
No, we can go Kirby. We could sit. No, we're gonna listen.
This is a fishing podcast.
We're gonna have to. We got to go back. Listen, we want to do baseball thing. We can go back to baseball, but that last you got me with the Kirby Puckett. You can't throw Kirby Puckett in there with Tony Gwynn and Pete Rose.
Is a pure hitter?
No.
Oh, come on, stop.
Not even close, bro. I mean, listen, I love little mighty midget Kirby Puckett jumping over the wall to win the World Series. I get it. I love him. But he is not anywhere near the pure hitter of Pete Rose and Tony Gwynn.
Were you going to say Ted Williams?
Yes.
Ted Williams is there.
Yes. Stan Musial.
Stan the man.
Pure hitters? Yes. Who else?
Man, it's going to be really hard to go against Derek Jeter.
And I'm with... No, he's not in that category. See, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Wade Boggs. But Wade Boggs is not in that category either. When you're talking about Tony Gwynn, Pete Rose, Stan Musial, Ted Williams, you're talking about the best solid contact hitters of all time. I mean, Kirby Puckett, Derek Jeter, Wade Boggs, they're great, but man, they're not there. They're not there. I don't think.
If you were to break down a top 10,
because my deal is if you're going to go Kirby Puckett, there's a lot of guys I can throw out there that were as good of a hitter as he was. Yeah. Over the years.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not so sure that Mike Trout's not going to be there when it's all said and done because he is one of the best hitters I've ever seen.
You know, those all-time greats, it just takes time.
Right. That's right.
It's like Chickamauga might be as good of a big bass lake as Lake Fork when it's all said and done.
You just never know.
But it's going to take time.
That's right. That's right.
Because here the last few years, Chickamauga's been as good as any of them.
Yeah, it's been showing out.
But Chickamauga's got to kick out a few 17s, and it's got to do it over the longevity that Fork's done it, which it hasn't done yet.
No.
Good transition back to bass fishing.
I like that.
Bassmaster Elite Series preview.
Ooh.
We've talked about it a little bit. They're going to the St. Lawrence River.
And then they're going to Cayuga the week after.
We're going to Cayuga after that. But let's talk about St. Lawrence River. Because we can talk about Cayuga next week.
You want to talk about, tell you what, you want to do a top 3 pick?
Yeah, let's go, man.
All right.
I don't even know who else on the Elite Series anymore. And I'm going to homeboy it up just because that's what I do.
You ready? I'm going to go in order. I'm going to go in order.
Oh, you're going in order. Let's go. You give me all 3 right now.
Seth Fider, Chris Johnston, Chris Zaldane.
Those are good picks. I can't argue against any of those picks. I could just piggyback that top 3, and I'd probably be better off than anything I'm going to pick.
You could go Corey Johnston. His brother's fishing too. Because, I mean, both of them guys are pretty interchangeable when it comes to smallmouth.
Gustafson. I'll take Gussie.
Mm-hmm. Did I miss one?
Yeah.
Who you got? You can go to read yours first.
All right, so I'm gonna throw a young gun in there. So I got Gustafson. Gustafson's known up in that part of the world.
Yeah.
I'm going Garrett Paquette. Really good young offshore fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
Really good rookie year. And I'm gonna go ahead and take Brandon Pollock.
Dadgummit.
That might be the best pick out of all, is Pollock. He has had some serious success up in that part of the world, and when he's right, he's as good as anybody on earth.
That's a good one. I can't believe you picked him as 3rd, though.
Well, I just wanted to. That was like when you bring your kicker out of the live well last.
I got you. Been there, done that.
All right.
Who's your sleeper pick?
If you got one, go.
I'm gonna throw a curveball. Stetson Blaylock.
Stetson Blaylock, the Arkansas boy. I think he's from Arkansas.
Yeah. Only because he's my favorite fisherman. Well, he's one of my favorite fishermen on the Elite Series.
He's another one of those guys that's just a really good dude. And I'll give you a sleeper pick. A little different direction than you went. I'm gonna go old school, but we talked about earlier about Bertrand, that Clearwater smallmouth deal relating to that part of the world down in the Southwest where he grew up in Arizona. Mm-hmm. Let's go Clifford Perch.
Clifford Perch is a good one.
One of the all-time greats in the Southwest in Arizona, the U.S. Open in Utah. I mean, he knows good clear water. Mm-hmm. That type of stuff fits him. So I'm gonna go Clifford Perch.
That's a pretty good sleeper pick.
So I've got Gussie, Garrett Paquette, Brandon Polnick, and Clifford Perch. You've got
Seth Fider, Chris Johnston, and Chris Aldane. And my sleeper is Stetson Blaylock.
That Elite Series doesn't sound like it's missing a whole lot of talent when you do that, does it?
Nah.
All right, folks, another thing for y'all to comment on. Who picked the better top 3 plus sleeper pick? And then let's all see how it shakes out. Speaking
of that part of the world, did you see the picture of that boat on St. Clair last weekend?
Yeah. Cool. Aaron Hernandez, gone forever.
God. They actually got the boat out of the water.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. The guy.
I seen that dude, that camera guy, looked like he was scared to death. Trying to get all his camera equipment out of there. And the boat's like already a foot underwater. Like, that was wild.
All you could see was the top, 6 inches of the cowling, maybe.
Yeah. You know what's going to be cool is to watch, and I won't be able to, I'll be fishing, but the live coverage on ESPN2 of these guys making these crazy runs on these big water.
Don't think I haven't already hit record.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. And, again, like we talked about earlier in the year, man, the big steps that tournament fishing is making with this competition between the two tours. Live coverage on national television network like ESPN2. Man, how cool is that? That's really cool.
So, I'm not familiar enough with tournament weights for the St. Lawrence River. Otherwise, I'd like to see what your thought is on the weight it's going to take to win it.
4-day tournament?
It's a 4-day, 20th through the 23rd. I'm going to say it takes
85 to 90.
I was going to say 95.
Maybe. I'm going to go 85 to 90.
I'll take the over. Fair.
You'll take 90 to 95?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
so 90 basically we're establishing 90 as an under-over, and I got the under, you got the over.
20 to 25 a day is going to win that tournament for sure, I think.
Yeah, which is the window we're in.
Right.
So I think 90 pounds is the under-over, and I'm taking the under, you're taking the over.
Yep. We'll see.
We shall see. Who's going to be right?
I don't know. I know they're going to catch them.
They're going to catch a lot of dang fish.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? It'd be cool if you had enough time to sit back and, document every fish and still have your best 5 win. Just see. That'd be cool. We'll never know, but it doesn't matter. Because that live coverage, you're going to be able to see a lot. It's just, but I think another cool thing too in those best 5 tournaments when they do the live coverage the way they do it now, when you see them catch, let's call it a 4-pounder, and go, oh, that's not going to help. That's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And they don't get fish landing violations, fish penalties.
Yeah, that whole fish hitting the carpet deal, obviously I would never make it.
I still don't understand the slight touch deal. I was trying to wrap my head around that the other day. They're like, I hear a marshal go, oh, that's a slight touch, not a penalty. I'm like,
it's like an incident. It's like incidental contact.
Yeah.
It's like when you got pass interference in football and you get your feet tangle up. Like it's incidental contact. It's not really a penalty. You didn't do it on purpose.
And then
I don't know, man. That whole deal right there.
Oh, another fun fact.
That's one thing about the MLF I don't necessarily agree with is all that stuff.
Another fun fact about MLF. Did you know that Justin Lucas did not lose a fish the whole entire tournament?
Holy crap!
Yeah, they were talking about that on championship day.
That seals it. That was the best fishing performance we've ever seen.
Because Marty Stone even said it. He was hooked up. I think it was when he had 95 or 96 pounds or something like that.
He caught 50 fish in a day and never lost anything.
Yeah.
And he hooked up.
Didn't lose a single fish. The whole tournament.
That's the best single day fishing performance we've ever seen. But between that fact and the 140 pounds, that's the best single day fishing performance in the history of bass fishing, in my opinion.
Because he's reeling in the bass that gets him over the 100 mark for whatever day. I think it was championship round. And Marty Stone goes, you know what's funny? I'll have to fact check this, but I don't think he's lost a fish all weekend long. And he goes back and he goes, nope, he sure has not. I was like,
That
didn't insane. Break off, nothing. And this dude, I watched this dude catch 6 or 7 fish in 10 minutes, and he retied 3 times in 10 minutes. Like, just, see you later. Let me catch another one real quick. Let me reel him in.
It's crazy.
Hey, that's a 4-pounder. Let me go ahead and retire real quick. Hey, let me go catch another 3-pounder.
That's crazy.
Like,
that's just crazy. Unbelievable job to Justin Lucas.
Just think about it. You catch 100. How many times did we retie that day when we caught 100?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were fishing some nasty stuff, though. We were fishing some really heavy chunk rock and stuff. But, yeah, no, we had to retie a lot.
But nonetheless, I mean, even just the size of the fish alone that you're catching.
And we didn't fish clean. We had fish that came off.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We had breakoffs, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's just even a bigger testament.
To the performance that we saw, right? Yeah, that is incredible. I'm just sitting here thinking about, is Barry Bonds one of the purest hitters ever?
Absolutely, he has to be.
Best purest hitters ever, because, he got walked so much. Like,
people were literally afraid to throw to the guy.
He got walked so much, he was like the all-time walk record or whatever, and then, like, he got less opportunities than everybody else. He still hit the ball a yard more than anybody ever has.
You remember the home run record year when people were intentionally walking?
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't want him to hit 70 on them. And, and then the freaking booze everywhere.
Whenever he got like 1 or 2 shy of, once he got 1 shy of McGuire's record, like, he would go whole games without seeing a pitch to hit.
Yeah.
I do remember, because I was in the Marine Corps at that time, and I was on the East Coast, and most of those games were on the West Coast because he was in the Giants West Division. And I would be up 1, 2, 3 in the morning watching every Barry Bonds at bat, because there's a baseball fan, no way we're going to see that happen. And me getting up at 0-5 for PT.
Well, what was crazy, too, if you were just sitting there watching SportsCenter and a Giants game was going on, they might be in the middle of a Spurs highlight. But we're going to pause it.
But if Barry Bonds comes up...
That's right. We're pausing it.
We're going to pause it and let you watch this intentional walk right.
And they did the same thing with Sosa and McGuire during the home run race.
I know you're a little bit younger than I was. Man, golly, I remember every day of that Sosa McGuire deal. That was wild. Oh, yeah. That was really wild.
Yeah, I was watching that one.
We ever have will 73 dingers get broke?
No, they cracked down too hard on the PEDs, and they've also not even...
Feed them steroids again, folks.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, look here. No, look here.
I'm kidding.
I have an unpopular opinion on this, and I'm sorry. We're paying these guys millions of dollars a year. I want to see 700.
They don't need to be on steroids. That's bad. Like, that stuff's bad for you. But that HGH and stuff that just makes you stay healthier. And,
well, I'm not saying like
a lot of the stuff that they've banned
aren't even.
It's nothing more than keeping you at your peak physical performance. It helps you recover from injury.
It's recovery time, yes.
It keeps you performing at your peak physical performance, because, dude, 162 games, that's insane. Like, that's an insane grind on your body day in, day out. And so a lot of the stuff these guys were taking was just stuff to help them
bounce back a little bit,
stay at their best. There's nothing wrong with seeing the best guys in the world play at their best. You know?
They were even talking about. So I watched the E60 deal on the Sammy Sosa McGuire deal a couple weeks ago, and McGuire used this cream, and what it was basically like. It wasn't a muscle relaxer, but it relaxed your muscles to where, like, whenever you went to sleep at night, you could actually, like, relax. It's like taking melatonin for your muscles, kind of. And they made a big deal about that, started hooping and hollering about it. It was all the front page,
it was
everything.
All designed. It was designed so he could get rest and recover and be ready for the next day.
And it didn't even do anything to alter, like, his physical physique, like nothing. Altered nothing.
And listen, folks, I've heard all the argument. Look at Barry Bonds when he entered the league, and look at him when he hit the home runs. And it's like, bro, 12 years in a weight room, you're going to gain some weight. Like, yeah. I mean, without steroids, you spend that much time in the weight room, you're going to gain a lot of weight.
You know what? I'm going to start working out. 12 years from now, I want you to take a picture of me.
Yeah, but you're already 30. Like, if you started at 20, it would have a much greater effect.
Challenge accepted, Billy.
Challenge accepted. No, I mean, but seriously,
no,
when
right.
you take these guys that are the best in the world at what they do,
because they were kids when they started this.
They work harder than everybody else does, right? They do. So if their diet is more regimented, and their diet is regimented for them to gain muscle mass, and they're in the gym every day, what do they get? They're gonna gain. It's not hard to gain muscle mass if you're obsessed with it every single day of your life.
I challenge anybody.
Elite alpha top flight guys are able to do things like that. That's why they're the best at what they do.
I challenge anybody to look at a picture of Mark McGwire today. He is still a freaking specimen.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? So, is he still on steroids for all you believers? No.
That's a very good point. I've never thought of it like that.
You know what I mean? And look at Sammy Sosa, same way.
Yeah,
he's still a big freaking dude.
They just work out.
Yeah.
Like they just work out.
Because when you get to that point, if you stop working out, it obviously has the reverse effect.
Right. And I see guys that, I saw guys growing up football guys that they put on real weight.
That's right.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Ray Lewis at the University of Miami when he was 20 and 21. Then look at Ray Lewis
with the Ravens
when he was 30 playing with the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
He's a much bigger human.
It's just
his head and neck got bigger too. You know why? Because he was in there doing shoulder presses and freaking neck machines every day. You know what I mean?
A lot of these guys were kids when they showed up on the scene. And we're comparing it to when they were kids.
And Barry Bonds looked like a kid because he was in the major when he was like 20.
He got drafted at 19, played a half a year in high A.
He was like 20 when he got called up.
And then got called up at 20. That's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes in your body from 20 to 35.
Oh yeah, big time.
And if you're working towards building it, it will develop.
Right.
So I don't buy into that whole, well, he was taking steroids, that's how he got so big. No, he was taking weight room and protein shakes. That's how he got that big. You know what I mean? But either way, it doesn't matter. The biggest thing that null and voids the whole argument to me is all the PEDs, all the performance-enhancing stuff that the hitters were taking. The pitchers were taking the same stuff.
That's right.
So who cares? How is it unfair?
And you know what? How about this one? So you can make the steroid argument, and Jose Canseco. Okay, right, it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's extremes in all cases.
But how come back then there weren't as many pitchers throwing 100 miles an hour as there are now? And guess what? It's a lot stricter now. There's a lot less stuff you can take. You can't even take creatine in baseball anymore.
Right, but we as humans, we evolve, we develop, and we continue to get better as athletes. Right.
But that's what I'm saying. If steroids were such a big...
There was 220-pound offensive linemen in the NFL in 1960.
Correct.
There's 220-pound cornerbacks now. You know what I'm saying? Like
some headhunters.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that one that played for Green Bay?
When? Now? Yeah. Recently?
Clinton Dix. That's a big old boy.
Heck with him, dude. Freaking Cam Chancellor for Seattle. He was like 6'4", 235, 240 pounds. And ran as fast as everybody.
That's right.
He was Cam Chancellor is probably the most physical freak defensive back ever in the NFL.
That's right.
Like, Cam Chancellor could have went down there on the end of the line, stuck his hand in there, and been a damn good defensive end.
That's right.
Like, that's how big he was.
Mm-hmm. It's just crazy to think about.
Oh, the athletes these days, man. Just the pure athletic ability that you see with these kids. It's what they call survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at our core animalistic nature,
it's cutthroat.
We're all trying to breed up.
That's right.
We're all trying to mate with somebody that's better than we are.
That's right.
On both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And so as that happens over time, the weaker, this is brutal and kind of excludes some of our finer traits as humans, but the bottom line is the weaker ones kind of get culled from the herd over time through not reproducing.
And you may not even really be doing it.
No, you're not even realizing you're doing it.
Right, yeah.
But everybody grows up. There's certain features in females that are attractive. Well, that's because you're trying to get your children to be better than you were.
Right.
And what do we all say we want for our kids? I know you don't have kids, but what do we all want for our kids? We want our kids to have it better than we did.
That's right.
Well, that goes in physical traits too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want my kids to be smarter than me. I want them to be more disciplined than me. I want them to be more professional than me. I want them to have more success than I have. I also want my kids to be bigger, stronger, and faster than I was. You know, if I can help them get there as a parent, I will.
Yeah, it's just a natural.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all trying to get better all the time, and so these athletes these days, man, compared to what they used to be, it's like I always love this comparison. Where it's like, well, Tiger Woods couldn't have competed against Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer. Are you shut up?
Stop it.
He carries his 2-iron further than them guys hit a driver.
I argued with somebody about this the other day.
It's insane, man.
And
they can say, well, he can't play the finer parts of the game, but it doesn't matter if he's on the green in less strokes. He can absorb that extra short game stroke.
So I want to hear your opinion. I got asked this the other day, and I had a knockdown, drag-out argument. Who's the best golfer of all time?
Of all time?
Skins on the wall.
Everything considered?
Everything considered.
Yeah, Tiger Woods.
That's what I said.
He is.
He is. Period. I know you've seen that.
He didn't win as many majors as Jack, but the most accomplished golfer of all time is Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus. Yeah.
The best golfer is Tiger Woods. You give me Tiger Woods at his peak versus anybody else in the history of the game, and it ain't even close, Jack.
So nope.
It's not close. Like, Tiger was beating a more talented field and beating them at a higher and faster rate than Jack Nicklaus was until his whole world, through his own doing, crashed down around him.
That's right.
Until that happened, Tiger Woods was beating a much, much more talented field than Jack Nicklaus was beating, and beating them at a higher rate on tougher golf courses.
That was another factor I brought up.
Now, Tiger Woods has better equipment than Jack had.
He sure does.
But he plays tougher golf courses against better players. So,
it's a tit for tat deal.
Absolutely it is. And I guarantee you, that equipment is better, 100%, no doubt about it.
No argument, yeah.
But I promise you, one thing that doesn't change with equipment is club head speed.
That's right.
Club head speed does not change with equipment. Tiger Woods would have smoked it past all those guys back then. He was a much better athlete.
By damn near sandwich.
He was much physically more capable, physically stronger than Jack, Arnold, Gary, any of those guys back in the day. Tiger Woods can swing the club at 130, 140 miles an hour. Those guys couldn't even think about that.
So I'm going to say John Daly is the closest one as far as club head speed to Tiger Woods.
Yeah, but John gains that club head speed at a loss to the rest of his game.
Correct.
Accuracy, consistency, iron play. Like, John has some... Granted, he hit it good enough that he was one of the best on earth when he was humming. Right. Mm-hmm. Not taking anything away from John Daly, because he was great when he was great.
Right.
But the reason he wasn't as consistent and didn't have the longevity 100% was because of he gained that club head speed, not through pure physical athleticism, but through some funky mechanics. Now, he had enough natural hand-eye coordination to overcome some of those funky mechanics. Right, that was the deal with John Daly.
I really like golf. I wish I was better at it.
How did we get to golf?
We're just cool like that.
We're just going?
We're just going.
We're just going, man.
I'll tell you what. Are you going to be mad when Seth Fighter wins the St. Lawrence River?
No, because I would have picked him too, but you picked first.
Gotcha.
Are you going to be mad? Now, when Polnick wins, that's when you should be mad.
Oh, I will be.
Because you had the chance to pick him and you didn't.
Because he's one of my favorite fishermen of all time.
I know.
Yeah.
You totally just forgot.
Brandon, don't take it personal.
Don't ever talk to him, Polnick.
Don't take it personal, man.
Never talk to this guy, Brandon Polnick. He doesn't love you. It's fake.
That's not true, man.
I really love you, Brandon Polnick. Talk to me. Oh, man, I think that's about all the damage we can do to one podcast in one day. So, Chris, do that thing you do.
Seth Fighter 2020.